Story 1. The Grinner Files. They called him the Grinner. First seen in grainy photos posted to our paranormal back in 2011. A man with a grotesquely wide smile, standing in backgrounds where he didn't belong. No one knew who started the thread, but users who zoomed in on the smile reported vivid nightmares. Some stopped posting entirely. 12 years later, the images resurfaced, now clearer, with new locations, and a new caption: "Do not smile back." It was April 2025 when horror podcast host Kyle Jensen received an email with the subject line, "You forgot to smile." No sender, no signature, just one attachment: an image of Kyle and his friend Leo at a party 3 years ago. In the background, visible was a man in a black hoodie with an inhumanly wide smile. Kyle doesn't remember that photo being taken, and Leo died last year. Kyle had seen his fair share of internet hoaxes and digital creepypastas. As the host of Digital Dread, he regularly dissected scary stories, exposing the patterns behind viral horror. But the Grinner felt different. The email had arrived through a burner domain with no traceable IP. Even stranger, it bypassed his spam filters and went directly to his primary inbox. He tried reverse image searching the photo. Nothing came up. But when he posted the image on a private Discord channel, a user replied with a single phrase: "You smiled." That night, Kyle dreamt he was in a corridor made of reflective panels. His footsteps echoed endlessly, every time he passed a panel. He saw his reflection, but something was always off. Sometimes he was younger, sometimes older, but always expressionless. Except one. One reflection stood still and smiled grotesquely, stretching mouth tour in an inhuman arc behind him. He woke up drenched in sweat, heart hammering, face aching like he'd been grinning in his sleep. Determined to understand what he was dealing with, Kyle dug into Reddit's archives. The original 2011 thread on Our Paranormal was locked, but several users had mirrored it. It described a user finding old photographs that changed after being posted: smiles growing wider, faces shifting. One user claimed, "The more I look, the more he smiles. And now, ... so do I." One reference caught Kyle's attention: "Ah, smile back." The subreddit was long defunct, but the Wayback Machine captured a few snapshots. Every post was corrupted, text replaced with symbols or upside-down letters. Only one video remained accessible: low-resolution clip of hooded figures encircling a flickering monitor. The audio was distorted, but a phrase repeated: "Only one can grin at a time." Kyle contacted an old forum mod who had once posted in the original Grinner thread. The man's voice was raspy, tired. "We thought it was a meme," he said. "But smiles are invitations, mirrors. He doesn't appear where he's wanted, only where he's reflected." Kyle's phone began auto-saving images he didn't take. Photos of his apartment, his street, even his bedways, from odd angles. In every one, there was a figure in the background, out of focus, grinning. One archived post from R. Smileback described a ritual. The instructions were simple: at 2:22 a.m., stand before a mirror, smile, hold it, wait 6 minutes, do not break eye contact. Kyle decided to try it for content, thinking he could debunk it live for his podcast's Patreon supporters. He set up a camera, positioned himself before the mirror, and hit record. At first nothing happened. He forced a smile, checked the timer. 1 minute passed. 2, 3, at 4 minutes. His reflection blinked. He didn't. The reflection's smile widened, painfully, stretching impossibly far. Kyle tried to look away, but his body locked in place. His jaw ached. He felt his facial muscles tearing. The camera footage cut to static. He woke up in bed, hours later, the footage gone. But the mirror was cracked hand on the back, written in Sharpie, "Thanks for smiling back." Terrified, Kyle reached out to his listeners. He received over 200 emails in 24 hours. Dozens described similar encounters, strange photos, unexplainable dreams, mirror rituals. Some even attached images. In all of them, the Grinner appeared. He created a private Discord server to connect survivors. They called themselves the Faceless. One girl at Glass Willow claimed her father disappeared after a photo went viral on Instagram, one she didn't post. Another user at Exit Smile uploaded a video of themselves laughing hysterically, face frozen in a horrible rictus. The file was titled "He's Here." Users began going silent. Their avatars changed to warped smiles. One user posted coordinates with a caption, "Smile spot." Kyle visited it. It was a bathroom in a derelict mall. On the mirror, etched with blood, or something close, were the words, "Smile, it's polite." Desperate, Kyle broke into Leo's old cloud account using clues from an old notebook. He found voice memos, recordings of Leo talking about nightmares and unexplained grinning strangers. One memo ended with Leo whispering, "He's already in your teeth." The last message was never sent. A text drafted to Kyle. He smiled back. Attached was a camping photo one Kyle had never seen. In it, Kyle and Leo sat by a fire. Between them, in the shadows, crouched the Grinner. His face partially visible, unmistakable. Kyle returned to the same campsite, alone, at 2:22 a.m. He smiled. The Grinner stepped out from the tree line, silent. And slow, Kyle whispered, "Why me?" The Grinner leaned in. "You always looked." Kyle never uploaded the final episode of Digital Dread. His accounts went dark. His fans speculate, share theories, search photos for clues, and sometimes they find him smiling in the background of someone else's post. The subreddit is gone, but the Grinner remains. The files circulate, the smiles grow. If you ever find a photo of yourself you don't remember taking, look closely. If someone in the background is smiling too wide, don't smile back. Story 2. The Red Room thread. It started as a joke on r No Sleep. A thread titled, "Has anyone seen the Red Room?" Most assumed it was a creepypasta riff until the op vanished, then a mod, then a reader who simply upvoted the post. The thread is gone now, of course. But some say if you type the words Red Room into Reddit's search bar at 3:33 a.m., a post will appear, and once you open it, the room begins to appear. It was October 2025 when college freshman Ava Dalton stumbled upon the thread while scrolling Reddit late one night. She had been buried in midterm stress, desperately procrastinating by diving into horror threads on r No Sleep. The post caught her eye immediately. It didn't have an elaborate title or clickbait styling, just a stark, unsettling simplicity. Has anyone seen the Red Room? The content was eerily minimal. The op described a dream, a room lit in deep crimson, with walls that pulsated like lungs. The ceiling was a mirror, and there was always a voice distorted, speaking backward, yet understandable in a way that made her skin crawl. The final line of the post read, "Don't look at the windows, they'll see you back." At first, Ava thought it was brilliant. writing an obscure creepypasta dropped by an anonymous talent. But then she noticed the ops username, @BloodMirror. She clicked to see other posts or comments, but the page returned a 404. User does not exist. Yet the post was barely an hour old. Out of curiosity and habit, Ava tried messaging the account, asking if it was part of a larger ARG or story project. Her message bounced instantly. Undeliverable. Still, their comment history was intact. Ava clicked through and found over 20 comments strange, short, and unsettling. Rooms that breathe remember you. Paint your door red, and they'll know you're ready. Windows that blink never blink alone. Each comment was like a puzzle piece without context, scattered across unrelated threads, DIY, subreddits, mental health boards, even fitness forums. It was almost as if @BloodMirror had been trying to plant seeds everywhere. That night, Ava dreamed of a red hallway. She walked endlessly, the carpet beneath her feet soaked in something warm. The walls rippled as if they were alive, and behind her, a distorted whisper spoke. "Welcome home." She awoke in darkness. Her bedroom lights were red. She checked her phone. The camera app was open. The last video showed her asleep, except the camera was in her hand. The next day, Ava searched Reddit for the post again. It was gone, removed. But her upvote remained in her history. She wasn't alone. A new comment thread appeared elsewhere. "Don't upvote the Red Room. It needs permission." A user named @LostMirror replied, "You updated. Now it's in you." Ava's roommate, Casey, dismissed it as internet nonsense. Creepy, sure, but it's just a story. Like Slender Man, chill. But Ava couldn't shake the dread. Later that night, Ava tried to report the post for self-harm, hoping it would be removed entirely. Reddit's feedback: "This post does not exist." Several users in the original thread began to vanish. Not just from Reddit, their entire online presence disappeared. Twitter, Instagram, even cached pages were gone. A mod on r no sleep posted. A warning, thread flagged as rooted. Stay out. The screenshot he posted showed something even more disturbing. Behind the post title was a faint outline, almost like a watermark of a face pressed against glass. Within hours, the mod's account was gone. Ava started seeing shapes on her dorm wall, vague and shifting. She couldn't tell if they were tricks of light or something more. Crimson shadows clung to the corners. Her friends claimed not to see them. She visited the thread again, or at least what looked like it. The title was now slightly different. "Red Room, have you opened it?" Same post text. New subreddit, "Are the Red Rooms?" She clicked into it. Every post was identical. "Describe your room. If it breathes, do not reply." Comment sections were locked. Users posted once, then never again. A few had cryptic bios like "I saw it blink," or "The mirror is wrong." Ava began tracking IP addresses through browser tools. Many originated from places that didn't match user profiles. Some came from defunct buildings. One pinged from an abandoned asylum in New Jersey. She stopped, sleeping. Ava started recording herself while she slept. Every night. Not that she expected to find anything. It was just ... a precaution. Or maybe validation. She didn't trust her memory anymore. Something about the shadows in her dorm, the way they seemed to flicker and stretch just as her eyes closed, made her want proof. By the third night, she got it. The footage showed her rising from bed at 2:43 a.m., expression blank, eyes wide open. She crossed the room, pressed her ear against the wall, and whispered something unintelligible. Then she turned toward the camera and smiled. That morning, her phone was cracked. Her mirror was fogged, despite no humidity, and etched in condensation were 5 words: describe your room to them. She bought blackout curtains and covered the mirror with a sheet, but it didn't help. The room still pulsed, subtly, like a quiet heartbeat beneath her feet. Her sleep grew restless. Her dreams became longer, lucid, vivid, horrifying. The red room now had windows, tall and arched, each showing a different version of herself. One Ava sat still, smiling. Another wept uncontrollably. Another bled from the eyes. And one just stared directly at her, unblinking, judging dart. She started reaching out. Deep dives into Discord servers, obscure subreddits, and encrypted chats led her to a group called the Unthreaded Survivors of the Red Room Threador. At least, that's what they claimed. The Unthreaded kept things anonymous. They didn't talk in real names. Everyone used screen names, like at Quiet Door, at Mirror Loop, and at Not Rooted. They described similar experiences: dreams of red walls, whispers through electronics, sudden deletion of their social profiles, and the mark. The mark, they explained, was when your username becomes tagged as rooted. No one could confirm who assigned it. But once tagged, your content began to glitch. Your face in profile pics would warp. Audio from your mic would loop backward in private calls, and then you'd vanish. Users went silent, one by one. Some posted cryptic final messages. They're in my light, or I saw the watcher, or simply window open. Then Ava got an email, no sender, no subject, just a link. It opened a blank page with one line of text: describe your room. She closed her laptop, but her screen didn't shut off. The text remained, flickering, beckoning. Ava's room began to change. The air was colder. Electronics shorted randomly. Light bulbs flickered red before dying. Her roommate, Casey, moved out after claiming Ava's sleep-talking had escalated, muttering numbers, describing the layout of a room with no windows. One morning, Ava found her name written across the ceiling in faint red ink. She installed a motion camera. That night, the footage revealed her standing in the middle of the room, arms outstretched, head tilted up. She was humming, off-key and mechanical. A second voice, layered under hers, said, "We're almost here." Desperate, she smashed her laptop, disconnected everything. But her phone turned on by itself. A new Reddit post loaded on screen. Number, username, no comments. Just the familiar words. Has anyone seen the Red Room? Ava screamed. No one talks about the thread anymore, but search histories leak. Screenshot archives persist. And Reddit still glitches at 3:33 a.m. If you ever see a post you don't remember opening with a red hue, a strange font, or a prompt to describe your space closet. Because if you answer ... the Red Room answers back. If this story made your skin crawl, like and subscribe for more psychological horror. Share your thoughts, but only if your mirrors are covered and your room is silent. And remember, some posts don't want to go viral. They want to become real.